All right, I'm going to try something different. Trying to explain things, on e-learning is a little bit difficult, and with this intervention assignment, I want to make sure that everyone's clear of what your expectation is on that. So at the beginning of the semester, I asked you to find a series of interventions that are available. I know that was semi-confusing, and wanted you to just look to see what elements you could potentially include in your interventions. And I know some of you found some things as far as like alcohol interventions and whatnot, and I'm not saying that that was a wrong avenue necessarily to go, but when looking for components that you could particularly use in your interventions with changing a coaching or a teaching pattern, don't look at that as using that intervention in the same realm. So I know some of you suggested, well, if there was an athlete or someone you were working with that had a dependency issue, then you could use the alcohol intervention. So I'm not looking for you to put together things in that regard, more looking at what is the element of the intervention, such as maybe tracking behavior, and being able to record what a person's behavior is. So something like that would be an element that you could use in any intervention instrument. So what I'd like for you to do on this assignment is to take elements that you've observed, or perhaps maybe you continue to kind of go out there and see what intervention plans are available, and you're going to use that intervention to change the areas that you highlighted in your analysis of the SOI instrument. So whatever you found to be problematic for that person that needs to continue to develop, that's going to be something that you're going to try to improve with the intervention plan. And as I put in the writing, this intervention plan is not something you're actually going to utilize as far as asking someone to go through it. So you're just coming up with a hypothetical plan. That hypothetical plan will be drawn out, and it will also have forms, documentation that you would need to do that, but please don't sweat that you're going to actually have to take a coach or a player or someone through this. It's just going to be something you would propose to do. Having that said, some of the things that have happened in the past that students, I want to make sure that you completely grasp. Let's say that I'm working on my undergraduate students and I want them to improve in, say, the thoroughness of their demonstrations. Simply telling them that they need to have more thorough demonstrations doesn't lead to an improvement. So there needs to be something more advanced than that. So sitting down, talking with them, yes, and then coming up with some sort of a plan in place that may be a 6-week or a 10-week plan, and that you talk about what you're going to ask them to do. So maybe they're doing some journaling. Maybe they're observing their own teaching performance, the teaching performance of other people. Maybe they're using the SOI instruments to kind of score and see where people are at. In the example of demonstrations, it could be something, I know in my classes where I've asked students to then record videos of them performing the demonstrations, and then we can critique and talk about how it was, full or partial or incomplete, etc. So they're really gaining an understanding of how do they improve in this particular area. So when you're doing your intervention, really look at how am I going to get this behavior change to happen. And I keep using that behavior change model because if many of us are involved in physical activity, so we can understand that from that kind of aspect, where you would simply just telling someone, hey, you need to be more active, that's not going to result in it. But perhaps them going and getting a gym membership, giving them the tools necessary, giving them assessments along the way to track whether it's weight loss or performance gains, things like that. And so maybe you would have a pre and a post and a final assessment. And that's similar to what we're doing here with the SOI instruments. You have all done a pre-SOI, if you will, and 5 of them on these individuals, and you've highlighted some areas that they need to improve. You put the intervention plan into place that was going to specifically improve their teaching, coaching, whatever performance that it has to be, and then you could have a mid or a post evaluation of using that SOI again to see did they actually improve it. So just wanted to kind of go over that with you. I put the specific things that I'm asking you to do on the assignment there, but any forms, any documentation that you would include in that intervention need to be placed there. So questions that you would ask the participant and assignments that you would give them to work on. You're not going to have the their side of things to know what they filled out, but ultimately you're just going to talk about the progression of what you would hypothetically take them to. And again, don't reinvent the wheel. Look through the assignments, the chapters that I posted early on, and use those resources so that you can take someone through that. I think some of you may have actually kind of done that with one of the assignments, is kind of to applied that, one of the intervention plans. So that's really what I'm looking for. But this shouldn't be 1 or 2 pages. This is going to be something that really spells out to me how you're going to take this person and actually see an improved performance. So let me know if you have questions, and hopefully